Good morning. I'm Julie. For those of you who don't know me, many of you I typically see on Saturday mornings or Wednesday nights at the Littlestown branch, but I'm excited to be sharing a yoga practice with many of you this morning, perhaps some new faces this morning. So if you have a block accessible, just go ahead and grab it. We will use it for our practice this morning. If not, it's okay. We can adapt. Near the end of the practice, we may do something where we use either the block or have our legs up the wall. So you may just need to move to some wall space at some point this morning. So to begin, we're going to just begin in a seated position. You can have your legs crossed if you choose, or if it's more comfortable to have one or both of your legs extended, you can do that as well. And we're going to make sure that our sits bones, which are those bones on the bottom of your butt, are connected to the floor, so you can adjust yourself as you need to. Allow your eyes to gently close. Allow your hips and your pelvis to become heavy. On an inhale, lift up through your spine, lift gently through the top of your head. And then with your next exhale, we're just going to start to circle the neck. Be mindful of how that motion feels in your neck and in your shoulders. And then we'll take a few of those rotations in the other direction. Back to center with that inhale. Once again, ground down through your seat, lifting up through your spine, and as you exhale, we're going to turn our head towards the right side. Inhale as you come back to center with the exhale, turning to look towards your left. Inhale, center. On the exhale, we're going to bring our right ear towards the right shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Exhale that left ear towards your left shoulder. Inhale your head back to center. We're going to begin to roll our shoulders towards the back of the mat. Again, just be mindful of how this feels in your shoulders, in the upper part of your back, perhaps even in the lower back. And then we'll take a few rotations towards the front. Back to center, place your palms on your knees. We're going to start to circle the torso here. And this movement can be as big or as small as you would like it to be, but do make sure that your sits bones and your seat remain connected to the floor here. Take a few of those rotations in the other direction. Breath in, lift up through the spine with your exhalation, twisting in the opposite direction. Again, if you'd like, you can extend that arm, that front arm, away from your body. releasing that hand back down towards your knee. Inhale as you lift up through your spine. Exhale as you come back to center. And then we're going to go ahead and transition onto our hands and knees, bringing ourselves into a tabletop position. And as you come into table, you do want your wrists to be in line with your shoulders here. Your knees are going to be in line with your hip bones. Just relax your feet, just allow them to be on the floor. We're going to move through some cat and cow stretches, which involve flexing and extending the spine. So on the inhale, releasing your tailbone towards the ceiling, drop your belly, lift your gaze. And then with the exhale, we'll come into a cat stretch. So arching the back, gently press your palms into the floor. Draw your belly button towards the spine. Inhale as your tailbone releases up. Drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhaling as you arch the back. Inhale as your tailbone releases. Drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhaling into that cat stretch. Inhale as your tailbone tips, the belly drops, your gaze lifts. Exhaling into that cat stretch. And then we'll continue with a few more of these postures, alternating between these movements, moving at your pace here, but allowing your breath to precede any movement, allowing your breath to guide your movement. And again, being mindful of how this feels this morning in your physical body. Neutral spine, returning to that tabletop position. As you inhale, extend your right arm in front. That left leg's going to come behind. We're going to bring ourselves into a spinal balance. Extending through your fingertips here, through the shoulders, through the foot, through the toes. And then on that exhale, return to table. Take a deep breath in. Let all that breath go. And then with your next inhale, extend that left arm forward, release that right leg back. Coming into a spinal balance. On an exhale, release to table. Once again, deep breath in. Let all that breath go. And then we're going to bring ourselves into a standing position. We're actually going to step towards the front of our mat. I'm going to turn my mat so that I continue to face you. So stepping towards the front of our mat, we're going to bring ourselves into mountain pose. Allow your ankles to be in line with your hip bones here. Allow there to be a slight bend in your knee. On an inhale, extend your arms towards the ceiling. Exhale as you bring your hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale into a forward fold. On an inhale, come up to a halfway lift, come to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to that halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, step your feet all the way to the back of your mat. We're going to come into plank pose here. Draw your belly towards your spine. Press firmly through your heels. On an exhale, float your hips towards the ceiling, coming into down dog. And as you come into this position, allow your head to be heavy, your neck is going to relax. Really spread your fingers here, press firmly through your palms. Breath in with your exhalation, slightly bend your knees, walk your feet all the way towards the front of your mat. On an inhale, rise up to standing. Arms lift towards the ceiling. Exhale your hands to heart center. We're going to move through a few more of these sun salutations with the inhale. Arms towards the ceiling. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step your feet all the way to the back of your mat. Come into plank. Again, draw your belly button towards your spine. Feel the extension through your neck, through your head. Press firmly through your heels. On an exhale, float your hips towards the ceiling, lifting into down dog. Allow your fingers to spread. Float your hips towards the ceiling. Release your heels towards the back of your mat. Deep breath in, and with your exhale, slightly bend your knees. Walk your feet towards the front. Inhale as you lift up to standing. Exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your palms, step your feet back. Coming into plank. With your exhale, float your hips towards the ceiling, lifting into down dog. On an inhale, press up onto your toes. With the exhale, release your heels towards the floor. Inhale as you press up onto your toes. Exhale as your heels release. Inhale as you press onto your toes. Exhale as your heels release. And with your next exhalation, slightly bend your knees, walk your feet all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale as you lift up to standing. Exhale, your hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your palms. This time we're just going to step the right foot back. Bring yourself into a lunge position. Press firmly through that back heel. On an exhale, step your foot forward. Inhale as you lift up to standing. Exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step that left foot back. High lunge on the right side. Allow your front knee to be in line with that front ankle. Press firmly through that back heel. On an exhale, step that back foot forward. Inhale as you lift up to standing. Exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step your feet all the way to the back. Come into plank. On an exhale, float your hips. Down dog. And then with your next exhalation, we're going to carefully release to our hands and knees. Spread your knees towards the edges of your mat. On an inhale, find extension through your spine. With your exhale, we're going to release into child's pose. And as you come into child's pose, soften your arms, allow your forehead, allow your head to release towards the floor. If you'd like to use your block to support either your forehead here or your chest, you can do so. And as you settle into child's pose, allow yourself to find softness within the physical body. With an exhale, softening through the hips, softening through the shoulders. Directing the breath into the low back, directing the breath into the low belly. Allowing each breath to be full and complete. Providing a rest for the physical body, but also allowing your mind to be still here. with an exhale, releasing any concerns, releasing any anxieties, allowing your mind to be present in this practice, in this moment. And then as you're ready, we're going to press back up towards our hands and knees, returning to that tabletop position. Shift your palms towards the front of your mat. Step your toes back, float your hips towards the ceiling. Once again, lifting into down dog. On an exhale, slightly bending the knees. Walk your feet all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale as you lift up to standing, the arms extend. Exhale as you bring your hands to heart center. And then release your arms down to your sides, bringing ourselves into mountain pose once again. So allow your knees to slightly bend. Your ankles are going to be in line with your hip bones here. Just allow yourself to settle into your feet for a moment, settle into this posture. We'll slightly tuck the tailbone. And then on an inhale, we're going to step our right leg back. We're going to square our hips towards the long side of the mat, preparing to bring ourselves into warrior two. So on an inhale, extend your arms out. And with that exhale, we're going to bend your front knee, sinking into warrior two. Be mindful of the placement of that front knee. You want it to be either in line with your ankle or perhaps a little bit behind. Allow your shoulder blades to gently press into your back. Feel that opening through your shoulders, through your chest. On an inhale, sweep your front arm towards the ceiling, reverse warrior. With your exhale, release that elbow to knee. Bring yourself into side angle pose. Inhaling into reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhaling into side angle. Inhale, warrior two. The arms extend once again. And then we're going to straighten that front knee. Float your fingertips towards the front of your mat. Release your hand down towards the floor. Come into triangle pose. And that top hand, that top arm can remain extended, or if you'd like to bend that elbow, you can bring that hand behind your back, bringing yourself into what we call a half bind. If your top arm is extended, go ahead and if your top arm is bent, go ahead and extend that arm towards the ceiling once again. Draw your torso back up through the center, exhaling into warrior two. Windmill your hands down towards the front of your mat. Step your front foot back, bring yourself into plank. On the exhale, float your hips, down dog. With your next exhalation, slightly bend your knees, walk your feet all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale as you lift up to standing. Exhale, your hands to heart center. Go ahead and release your arms down to your sides, once again bringing yourself into mountain. Allow your knees to slightly bend here. We're going to step the left foot back about 3 to 4 feet. Square your hips towards the long side of your mat here. Inhale your arms out to your sides. And then on that exhale, we're going to bend that front knee, coming into warrior two. Again, be mindful of the placement of your front knee, allowing it to either be in line with your front ankle or perhaps a little bit behind. Allow your tailbone to slightly tuck. Become aware of your breath here. Make sure your breath is still moving. And then with that next inhale, sweep your front arm towards the ceiling, reverse warrior. Exhaling into side angle pose. Inhaling into reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. inhale, warrior two. The arms extend. And then we're going to straighten our front knee. With your exhale, float your fingertips towards the front of your mat, releasing into triangle pose. And again, that top arm can remain extended, or if you'd like to bend that elbow, you can bring your hand behind your back, coming into a half bind. Allow your breath to be full and complete here. If that top elbow is bent on the inhale, extend your arm towards the ceiling once again. Draw your torso back up through the center, exhaling into warrior two. Windmill your hands down to the floor. Step back to plank. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, float your hips, down dog. With the exhale, slightly bend your knees as you walk your feet all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale as you lift up to standing. Exhale, your hands to heart center. Release your arms down to your sides once again, bringing ourselves into mountain. Allow the knees to slightly bend. This time we're going to step our right foot back. That front foot's going to remain pointed towards the front of your mat. We're going to bend that front knee. Your hips are going to remain squared towards the front of your mat. Coming into warrior one, sweep your arms towards the ceiling. Soften your shoulders here. If you'd like, you can bring the hands to heart center. Another option here is you can actually bring the arms behind the body, reaching towards opposite elbows. Allowing the shoulders to soften and release back. And then if your arms are behind your back, go ahead and bring them back. Bring your hands to heart center. From this position, we're going to transition into tree pose. So in order to do that, we're going to press into our front foot. That back foot is going to lift. And you can come onto your toes. You can lift that foot to meet your inner calf. Or perhaps you lift that foot to meet your inner thigh. Allow your forehead to soften here. Allow your jaw to soften. If you're wobbling or shaking, it's likely that no one else is seeing you. Allow the breath to be smooth, be soft. And then on an exhale, we're going to release back into warrior one. So that lifted foot once again releases behind the body, front knee bends, the arms extend towards the ceiling. Release your arms down to your sides. We're going to step that back foot forward, come back into mountain pose. Nice job with that. With your inhale, extend the arms towards the ceiling. Exhale as you bring my hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and then on your next inhale, begin to ground down through your feet. Bring your body back up through the center. Once you come to standing, release your shoulders down and back. Let all of that breath go. And then we're going to step our left foot back. Coming into warrior one on the opposite side. So once again, that front foot is pointed towards the front of your mat. We're going to bend that front knee. Hips are squared towards the front of your mat. Inhale the arms towards the ceiling. Warrior one. Soften your shoulders here. If you'd like, you can bring the hands to heart center. If you'd like to bring the arms behind your back, you can reach for opposite elbows. I'm going to turn for just a moment just so everyone knows what I'm talking about with the arms and hands. Another option here, if you want to intensify this stretch, is to bring yourself into reverse prayer, where you will likely feel a little more opening through the wrist, through the forearms. arms are behind your back, go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. Once again, and then as you're ready, we're going to transition ourselves into tree pose. So this time just on the opposite side. That front foot will be the supporting foot. On an inhale, you're going to press into that front foot, lifting your back leg. Your toes can be on the floor. You can bring your foot to your inner calf. You can bring that lifted foot to your inner thigh. And as you settle into your version of tree this morning, once again, find softness through the forehead, find softness through the shoulders, soften the belly. Allow the breath to move. Oftentimes we bring ourselves into some of these positions that are a little challenging or feel a little complicated to us, and we tense up and hold our breath. And then on that next exhale, as you're ready, we'll release back into Warrior One. So that lifted foot, once again, steps behind, bending the front knee, extend the arms towards the ceiling. Soften the shoulders, release your arms down to your sides. We'll step that back foot forward, returning to mountain. With the inhale, sweep the arms towards the ceiling. Exhaling as you bring your hands to heart center. Inhale the arms towards the ceiling. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your palms, step your feet all the way to the back of your mat, come into plank. Draw the belly button towards the spine, feel the extension through your neck and your head. Press firmly through your heels, and then with your exhale, float your hips towards the ceiling, down dog. Inhale as you press onto your toes. Exhale as your heels release towards the floor. Inhale as you press onto your toes. Exhale as the heels release. Once again, inhale and as you press onto your toes. Exhale as the heels release. And then with your next exhale, release down to your hands and knees. Returning to a tabletop position. And from here, we're going to transition into a seated position. Go ahead and extend both of your legs in front. Once again, allow those sits bones to connect to the floor. With your inhale, draw your right knee in towards your chest. Lift up through your spine. And then on the exhale, we're going to twist towards your right. Lift up through your spine. Exhale as you come back to center. Go ahead and release that bent knee. Draw the opposite knee in towards your chest. Inhale as you lift up through your spine. On that exhale, twisting towards the left. Inhale as you lift up through your spine. Exhale as you return to center. You can release that bent knee. Readjust yourself if need be so that your sit bones are once again connected to the floor. On the inhale, sweep both of your arms towards the ceiling. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale your arms up. On the exhale, we're going to twist towards your right. Arms extend. Inhale towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. Exhale into your left. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. We're going to create a little bit of a flow or movement with this, so moving at your pace. Inhaling towards the ceiling. Exhale, twist. Inhale through the center. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale towards the ceiling. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale towards the ceiling. we'll meet in a forward fold. And this time we're going to hold this for a breath or two. So find softness through your shoulders here. Begin to direct the breath into the low back, finding softness there as well. On that next inhale, begin to ground down through your seat. Begin to draw your torso back up through the center. With an exhale, release your shoulders down and back. Go ahead and let all that breath go. We're going to do that one more time, just rolling the shoulders towards the back of your mat, letting the breath go as well. And then go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together. And if you have a block or even a blanket or a rolled towel, if you'd like to use it, you can do so, just to elevate your seat and elevate your hips. Just gives you something to sit on. Sometimes when we elevate the seat and the hips away from the floor, it just takes some of the strain, some of the discomfort out of our lower back. So settling into your seat, whether you be on the floor or whether you choose to elevate yourself, on the inhale, lift up through your spine here, and then with that exhale, we're just going to fold forward from the hips. And we're going to start by maintaining that extension through our spine. So maintaining the extension through your spine through the top of your head. If you'd like, you can allow your eyes to gently close here. And then with your next exhale, we're going to release our chin towards the chest, allowing your spine to now round, allowing the top of your head to release towards the floor. Take a moment here to just become aware of your thoughts. And if you find yourself focusing on whatever's going on outside of your practice right now, what's going on with the world, with an exhale, just give yourself permission to release those concerns, release those worries for the remainder of this practice. Allowing your thoughts to be here in this space, in your space. And just becoming aware of your immediate surroundings, noticing the lightness around you, noticing whatever sounds you're hearing. Noticing your breath, the pace of your breath, the deepness of your breath. Your next inhalation, begin to ground down through your seat. We're going to bring the torso back up through the center. Once you come to seated, once again, release those shoulders down and back. Let all of that breath go. And then we're going to come down onto our mat, coming onto our back. So if you're seated on your block or blanket or towel, just go ahead and push that off to the side. Come down onto your back. Once again, I'm just going to turn my mat so that you can see better what I am doing. And once you come onto your back, go ahead and draw your right knee in towards your chest. Place your palms on that knee and begin to shift that knee gently from side to side. You can bring that knee back to center, extend that foot towards the ceiling, and then just start to circle your ankle. few of those rotations in each direction. And then we'll bring that ankle back to center. Go ahead and release that foot, that ankle back down onto the floor. Draw your opposite knee in towards your chest, placing your palms on that knee. Begin to shift that knee gently from side to side. Bring that knee to center. Extend your foot towards the ceiling. You can keep your knee slightly bent here and then start to rotate your ankle. Take a few rotations in the other direction. Bring your ankle back to center. Release your foot, your leg back down onto the floor. We're going to draw both of our knees in towards the chest. Extend your arms out to your sides. Bring them into a T position. Take a deep breath in, and with your exhalation, you can release both of your knees towards the right side of your body. And as you come into this position, be aware of that opposite shoulder, that left shoulder. Allow that shoulder to ground or connect towards the floor. Your gaze can be towards your knees here, or you can look towards the ceiling if you choose. Allow your forehead and your eyes to soften here. Next inhale, draw your knees back to center. The arms remain in that T position. And as you exhale, you can release both of your knees in the opposite direction. Once again, be mindful of that opposite shoulder. Allow that shoulder to connect towards the floor, to ground towards the floor. And you can look towards the ceiling here, or perhaps you look in the direction of your opposite hand. On the inhale, draw your knees back to center. We're going to bring our palms to meet our knees. Draw the knees in towards the chest and just allow yourself to gently rock from side to side here. Or you can circle the knees here if you choose. And if you choose to circle your knees, just take a few rotations in each direction. Bring your knees back to center. We're going to place our feet onto the floor. And at this point, we're going to bring ourselves into legs up the wall pose. So there's two different options to come into this. The first I'm going to show for you is using a block. So if you happen to have a block, what you're going to do is you're just going to place your block underneath of your sacrum or tailbone area. Allow your hips to rest on the block. And then you're just going to lift your feet towards the ceiling. You can keep your knees slightly bent here. And if you come into this position and it is just uncomfortable, you likely just need to adjust the placement of your block. This is intended to be a restorative, restful position, so it should not feel like a lot of effort or work once you come into it. The other option here is if you do not have a block, is to actually use wall space. So I'm just going to come right behind me here to use the wall space. And if you're actually using the wall, what you're going to do is just bring your bottom as close to the wall as you can. And just simply extend your legs up the wall. And we're going to remain there for a few minutes. I'm just going to come back onto my mat. But as you come into this position, whatever version of it you're coming into this morning, do allow your shoulder blades to tuck into your back. Allow your arms to just simply soften and relax at your sides. And whether you are actually using the wall space or whether you're using a block to elevate your hips, if you'd like, you can bring your legs into a wide-legged position. You can also bring the soles of your feet together into a butterfly position. You can simply keep your legs extended, or you can alternate or switch between those postures depending on what feels good for you this morning. Allow your pelvis to be heavy here. Allow your hips to be heavy. Allow your forehead to relax and your eyes to close. And as we spend a few minutes in this position, I have a brief reading that I want to share with you this morning. And this is actually taken from a devotional on YouVersion, but it certainly addresses anxiety, and it certainly addresses being present in our life, being present in our practice. You know what the problem is with anxiety? We get too far ahead of ourselves. We convince ourselves to fear things that either haven't happened or don't actually exist. After all, fear is false evidence appearing real. Sometimes it's so bad we won't allow ourselves to get too happy, enjoy ourselves too much, or experience the fullness of a great relationship. We self-sabotage our own joy all out of the fear of disappointment. Fear that it's only so long before something goes wrong. We'd rather be prepared than endangered. But these walls soon become a self-imposed prison. Have you ever experienced this? Are you experiencing it now? Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, calls this the shield of foreboding joy. Brown mentions the whole idea is that you sacrifice joy, but you suffer less pain. This has become the world that many of us live in, that many of us are presently living in. And in reality, it is bondage. However, in the Bible, Christ instructs us in Matthew chapter 6, verse 34, to take one day at a time, to be present. The truth is that you cannot experience the fullness of joy without allowing yourself to be vulnerable to the present. It was when I realized how hard it was for me to be fully present that I began to understand the depth of anxiety. By placing my mind in the future, I somehow thought I could control it or stop things before they happened, even though those things never existed. And most of the things we fear never even happen. It's a trap to keep us from living the abundant life that we've been called to in Christ. Remember God's sovereignty. He has already seen your future. He has every single day of your life laid out before him. So you don't have to worry about the future when you know he is already there. Today, my challenge for you is to let go of foreboding joy and to be present in your life. block, you're going to carefully just release your feet down to the floor. You're going to lift your hips and your pelvis away from that block. Place that block off to the side and then release your hips down onto the floor. If you're at the wall, you're just going to carefully release your legs down the wall. You likely will have to shift your body away from the wall. Sometimes it's easiest to roll onto one side. And then just return to a position on your back. You can still face the wall if you choose. You can return to your mat. We're moving towards Shavasana. So coming onto our back, if you'd like, your legs can be extended, or if you choose, you can bend your knees if that's more comfortable for you. You can also bring the soles of your feet together and open the knees out to your sides into a butterfly or Baddha Konasana pose. If it is uncomfortable for you to be on your back for any reason, you can enjoy Shavasana from your side. If you choose to be on your back, do allow your shoulder blades to tuck into your back. Allow your eyes to gently close. We'll take a deep breath in, and then with your exhalation, soften your forehead, soften the jaw, relax the shoulders and the chest. Allow the belly to become soft. Allow the hips to release. With an exhale, softening the calves, the ankles, and the feet. Allowing your entire body to completely sink, to completely release onto the floor. Becoming aware of your breath here. Beginning to inhale to a count of 4. Exhaling to a count of 6. Inhaling 4. Exhaling 6. Inhaling 4. Exhaling 6. And then returning to your natural breath. And with your next inhalation, start to bring awareness back into your physical body. Start to bring gentle movement into your fingers and into your toes, into the wrists, into the ankles. If you are on your back, as you feel ready, you can roll onto your right side into pose of the Dreaming Child. And you can carefully use your hands and your arms to bring yourself into a seated position. Once you return to a seated position, bring yourself into a comfortable seat for you. Again, you can have your knees crossed, your legs crossed, or you can extend one or both of your knees. We'll bring our hands to heart center. Take one shared breath in. Release all your breath out. In. Let all of your breath go. I thank you all for joining in this practice with me this morning. Namaste.